It's Friday, January 24th, 2025. Welcome to episode 138 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, City Council addresses sea level rise, nuclear fusion coming to Alameda Point, new road safety measures, but in the wake of an unfortunate accident. Voices are heard at Saturday's People's March, Books Inc. files for bankruptcy, a guide to activities this weekend, and a look at dim sum in Alameda. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story: on Tuesday, City Council unanimously endorsed concept designs for Alameda portions of the Oakland-Alameda Estuary and Bay Farm Island adaptation projects to address sea level rise. The Estuary project aims to address coastal, stormwater, and groundwater flooding along Alameda's northern shoreline. The Bay Farm Island project aims to remove Bay Farm Island's lagoon from the 100-year floodplain and bolster the northern shoreline and bay trail from erosion. The City of Alameda has led the Oakland-Alameda Adaptation Committee, or OAK, since 2021. OAK is a collection of shoreline communities, agencies, and stakeholders working to coordinate Oakland-Alameda flood and adaptation projects. In addition, OAK is also coordinating the Sub-Regional Adaptation Plan. City Project Manager Gail Payne provided a brief update on the sub-regional plan, which describes strategies for Oakland and Alameda shoreline communities as the climate and shorelines change over time. Payne said the current plan does not comply with the new Bay Conservation and Development Commission guidelines, so the city is seeking additional funding to update it. The goal is to gain BCDC approval and go public with strategies later this year. The Estuary project consists of shoreline treatments, including seawalls, levees, and redevelopment at higher elevations, as well as inland treatments to store water and prevent flooding. The Bay Farm Island project includes upgrades to the lagoon, including a new tide gate and pump station. The project will shorten Veterans Court Road, allowing for more marsh expansion and habitat enhancement while accommodating 20 to 25 parking spaces. Council unanimously voted to endorse the concept designs for the Estuary and Bay Farm projects and accepted the status update on the Sub-Regional Adaptation Plan. Also on Tuesday, City Manager Jennifer Ott reported that construction of the Central Avenue Safety Project will begin on Monday, January 27th. More details on that in just a moment. For full details, including maps and diagrams of proposed work, see Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. Also on Tuesday, Council met in closed session with representatives from green tech startup Pacific Fusion to discuss entering into an exclusive negotiating agreement leading to a land deal on Alameda Point. It is expected that the land sales revenue will go toward providing much-needed infrastructure upgrades around mostly vacant land slated for commercial and light industrial development. The approximate size of the footprint is 17 acres. Based in Fremont, Pacific Fusion's goal is to make nuclear fusion a viable energy source. Unlike the more familiar nuclear fission, fusion produces minimal nuclear waste, and what it does produce is not only lower level, but breaks down faster. One of the other byproducts? Helium. Fusion has been something of a holy grail of energy production, but recent advancement in magnetic containment has pointed to a potentially viable future for the technology. If the deal goes through, Pacific Fusion would join Kairos Power and Natel Energy as cutting-edge energy companies on Alameda Point. For a look at the potential deal, a map of the proposed site, as well as background on the tech behind fusion, see Richard Bangert's article at alamedapost.com/news. As noted earlier, construction on the Central Avenue Safety Improvement Project will begin this Monday. The project is designed to enhance safety and reduce vehicle delays. There are 3 phases. Phase 1, January through June, includes construction of roundabouts on Central and 3rd and 4th Streets. Look for the closure of one westbound lane between 5th Street and Pacific Avenue. Phase 2, June through next January. During this phase, as construction continues, look for a single eastbound lane closed between 5th and Pacific. In Phase 3, scheduled for April of 2026, construction of a roundabout at the intersection of Central Avenue, Pacific Avenue, and Main Street will require the full closure of that intersection to through traffic. Detours will be established to direct traffic around the construction zone. When all is done, in addition to the roundabouts, you'll see 2 travel lanes with a center turn lane, new bikeway, enhanced pedestrian crossings, bioretention units to capture and filter stormwater, accessible on-street parking, and improved bus stops. Details and a project map at alamedapost.com/news. Another safety initiative is one we discussed back in episode 134, California's new daylighting law, which addresses parking at least 20 feet away from intersections. In that initial report, I mentioned that warnings would be issued until March and then the fines would begin. Might be the case elsewhere, but it's a slightly different story here in Alameda. Assembly Bill 413 created a new section of California's Vehicle Code. AB 413 aligns with the City Council's 2019 adoption of the Policy for Improvements to Visibility, daylighting, which provided guidance to the Public Works Department to prioritize safety by changing parking practices near intersections, part of the city's Vision Zero Action Plan, which outlined strategies to eliminate traffic fatalities and serious injuries by 2035. However, due to limited resources, look for enforcement to be more reactive than proactive. Additionally, until the city updates its master fee schedule, Alameda is literally unable to issue citations for the new law. City Council is expected to update the fee schedule this summer. Until then, they can only issue warnings. Ken Durr provides details at alamedapost.com/news. Unfortunately, Alameda recently received a reminder of the importance of traffic safety. Last Wednesday, the 15th in the evening, a 59-year-old Alameda woman was struck and killed at the intersection of Ralph Appizzotto and Coral Sea. Alameda police noted the driver was a 70-year-old man, also an Alameda resident, who remained at the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. The APD report stated, quote, "The preliminary investigation suggests the pedestrian was crossing Ralph Appizzotto Memorial Parkway as the motorist was making a westbound turn when the collision occurred. However, the exact cause of the collision has yet to be determined." End quote. Full story at alamedapost.com/news. In episode 136, we reported that Alameda City Attorney Yiben Shen was among the 15 applicants to replace ousted Alameda County DA Pamela Price. Shen is now one of 7 finalists for the position. The Alameda County Board of Supervisors held interviews this past Tuesday, the 21st. A final decision will be announced this coming Tuesday, the 28th. The new DA would take office no later than February 4th. Details at alamedapost.com/news. Last Saturday, more than 300 people gathered in front of Alameda's City Hall for a rally and march in anticipation of the incoming administration. Organized by Alameda resident Cindy Pyle, the Alameda People's March was coordinated to take place during the national women's marches around the U.S., featured local speakers, and was followed by a march along Park Street to South Shore Center. Attendees who got to the rally early made posters and visited tables sponsored by All Rise Alameda, 100,000 Trees for Humanity, and the League of Women Voters of Alameda. In addition to speeches from various organizational representatives, Alameda Poet Laureate Kimi Sugioka read 2 of her poems, Inaugural Firestorm and Aliens. Reverend Laura Rose of the First Congregational Church of Alameda closed out the rally with a blessing. After some music from the Neptunes, the crowd walked over to Park Street and marched peacefully on the sidewalk to South Shore Center. Jean Chen spoke with attendees. Find those interviews and pictures at alamedapost.com/news. Chapter 11 filings are all too common in the Bay Area, but when the company doing the filing is beloved bookseller Books Inc., it hits a little differently. Fortunately, the Park Street location will remain open, as will 9 other stores. The Berkeley location is scheduled to close February 9th. That leaves the 174-year-old chain with locations in Alameda, Campbell, Mountain View, Palo Alto, San Leandro, 3 in San Francisco, and 2 in the San Francisco airport. Online operations and the Frequent Reader Club continue. For details, see alamedapost.com/news. On the subject of things going away, West End Arts District Executive Director Tara Pilbrow announced that Fiesta Alameda has been canceled for this year due to lack of funding. The loss of a major corporate sponsor, combined with state budget cutbacks, led to the decision to cancel the event despite outstanding attendance the past 2 years. Details at alamedapost.com/features. Still lots to do here in Alameda. You might be looking for something new but simple. In her all-around Alameda column this week, Amanda Laird has chosen 5 local events that only require 2 hours or less. Saturday, take advantage of the monthly tours of the Myers House, as well as the USS Hornet Wardroom Speaker Series. Also on Saturday, the annual Alameda Elks Lodge Crab Feed, more aquatic goings-on at the library with exploring jellyfish, and on Sunday, a creative cartooning workshop at the Frank Betts Center. Details at alamedapost.com/features. We love to talk about the dining scene here in Alameda. Our own Jean Chen has taken a closer look at one aspect you might be unaware of, the 5 restaurants who serve dim sum on a daily basis. She takes a moment to highlight her favorites from the various restaurants: Pacific Lighthouse, Kitchen of Alameda, East Ocean, Dim Sum Best of Taste, and Chef's Walk. Find Jean's recommendations at alamedapost.com/features. Side note, to this day, Chef's Walk remains one of my favorite bits of Bay Area music trivia. For a brief time in the early 80s, that location was home to the music venue Ducal Palace, and on September 16, 1982, the headliner in one of their very early gigs, Bay Area thrash metal pioneers Exodus. Thank you for your support of local news for Alameda. Remember, find us on our Facebook page or Instagram, MSN, YouTube, Mastodon, Threads, and Blue Sky, our own subreddit, and look for us on Nextdoor. Subscribe to us on Apple News. Find the Postcast wherever you get your podcast, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler, back next Friday with episode 139 of the Alameda Postcast.